And now here's Ollie Williams with the Blackie weather forecast. Ollie?
It's gonna rain!
Thanks, Ollie. In local news, we have more on the approach of Hurricane RuPaul, which is working his or her way up the coast. Let's go live to Ollie Williams with the Blackie weather report. Ollie?
It's raining sideways!
Sounds rough, Ollie. Do you have an umbrella?
Had one!
Where is it?
Inside out, 2 miles away!
Is there anything we can do for you?
Bring me some soup!
What kind?
Chunky!
9 billion names of pod.
From Atlanta,
Everything not tied down will be blown into Tennessee.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Ollie Williams!
So, let's talk about some stuff.
Okay!
Yeah, it is Hurricane Eve here in Atlanta as we record this. Hurricane Irma is whooping up on Florida at the moment.
And she's not bringing Werther's.
Yeah.
She's not bringing the Werther's.
Does sound like a kind of an old lady name for a
Oh, look, it's Javi and Irma.
Javi and Irma.
Oh, they're fabulous. Apparently, friend of the podcast, Jillian Meduno, pointed out to me that there is an actual couple that are both in over 100 years old, I think, that are named Harvey and Irma, and they're amused that
this is a thing.
That this is the thing that's happening. Like going, back in my day, we didn't have a meme.
Right, yeah. What is a meme?
I have a meme, but I don't have a meme. What do you...
Yeah, it's... we're looking out the window now. It's not too bad here, but everyone in true Atlanta fashion, they have panicked and closed schools.
Oh my God! There's going to be a third of an inch of snow. Everybody freak out!
Yeah,
well, that does ice over the road, so a minor freak out is perhaps warranted.
Right, and it's not going to be a Category 4 hurricane that hits Atlanta.
It's not even going to be a Category 1 probably. By the time
it's going to be tropical storms, and it's going to be raining. And
we'll get about a foot of rain and up to 50, 60 mile an hour winds, which is, no small thing, but it's, believe me, people down in Florida will be like, please, can we have what you're going to get?
Exactly.
And of course, we have no storm surge, which is basically the most destructive part of all of it.
Right. What we have had is a surge of Floridians in Atlanta at the moment. At my current place of employment, the Georgia Aquarium, they... every day we have a little, I guess it's a website or a link to a thing that tracks how many people are in the building, how many have come in, how many have left, and it's mainly for the managers, but we have access to it, so I look at it once in a while.
So they know how to measure out the neutralizing gas to get to everybody.
Well, how much propaganda you have to pump into their heads for. But
don't feed the sea lions. Don't feed the sea lions.
Don't touch the animals. But they. And they also have a budget. Last year we had this many people, so we're expecting this many people, and it's some crazy algorithm that actually is fairly accurate.
And they can tell the cafeteria how many fish sticks to have on hand, which, when you think about it, is kind of gross and wrong.
Oh yeah. I think it's a joke, but there was a rumor that they were planning to have sushi one time, and I was like, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah,
I don't think that happened, but they do serve fish.
Now screening in the auditorium. Tentacle porn.
Right.
Why?
Wait, what?
Who's doing this?
But the point is, over the last 2 days, they have budgeted. They budgeted something like 5,000 something people yesterday and 5,000 something people today. Because this past week we've had 3,000 people all day. Because it's off season, and that's about right. We had 15,000 people in today, and 17,000 people in yesterday.
It's like forced tourism.
Well, yeah, it's like a bunch of people in town with nothing to do, and it's good for us.
Poor aquarium in Tennessee's going, hey, we're an aquarium too.
Yeah.
Come on.
Keep going. Just, Atlanta's full. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, last weekend we had beautiful weather, and it was Dragon Con.
It was Dragon Con.
It was.
Yes, for those of you who have been wondering where the hell we've been, well, in my case, it wasn't Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Just a confluence of our abbreviated summer schedule and Dragon Con and teching on shows.
We apologize. It just got a bit out of hand, and we just weren't able to.
We'll apologize to all three of you in person
in
the coming week.
Come on over. So yeah, I got to do Dragon Con this year.
Highlights.
Highlights.
Or lowlights. Let's start with the lowlights.
I have I have a highlight that was kind of a lowlight.
Oh, dear.
Not bad, but the
Oh,
highlight.
no. Not Lee Majors. Did you piss off Lee Majors again?
That's a funny story because I made a post that said I just shared a moment with Lee Majors, and what happened was we were in line to meet Marina Sirtis from Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Topher Payne's movie.
Absolutely.
Which is exactly why we were in line to meet Marina Sirtis.
So you could do that thing you do and go, oh, yeah, I love your work at Star Trek, but hey, let's talk about...
That's exactly what I did. I said, hey, we have a mutual friend, Topher Payne. And she's like, I just had lunch with him.
That's right.
And we were in line, and she was talking to someone, and behind her comes Lee Majors and is like waiting, and he looks up at me and gives me the whole like, can you believe this? You know, I have to wait for like women kind of thing. And the low light of that point of thing, and this is how stupid I am, it wasn't Lee Majors, it was Gil Gerard. It was Buck Rogers. So we were walking around the Walk of Fame, and I just started shaking my head, and Courtney's like, what's the matter? I was like, I'm an idiot.
But you know what? You could have left that post as is, and probably no one ever would have noticed or called you on it. But you fessed up.
Oh,
to it.
there was one person.
Was there one person?
Yes, my friend Jenna, who works guest ops. And
Oh,
she
and
was
they
like,
said, he's not here.
He's not even
you
here.
You didn't see him.
You idiot. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well done. Well, you know the Dragon Con connection to Gil Gerard is our good friend Wilma Deering.
Yes.
She actually runs like an agency that handles these kind of bookings for...
Wait, Wilma Deering?
Yeah, I can't remember. Erin Gray.
Yes.
The actress who played Wilma Deering on
yes.
Buck Rogers, which Buck Rogers was Gil Gerard.
Right.
Her thing now is that...
Oh, okay.
She's like an agent.
Oh, I
so
didn't know
like
that.
where some actors,
she's there too.
Of course. Well, she's there every year.
Yeah.
She does. Some actors stop acting really, and they just do the con circuit or make an appearance every now and then. She is their agent for that kind of thing.
Oh,
she's the one that
I guess
handles.
somebody has to do that.
Yeah.
So she's the one making all that money.
She's taking a cut. She's
Yeah.
making She's taking something. I mean, some people you can just go up and talk to. Other ones like $20 for a picture.
Well,
and
you
3 seconds
can pretty much talk to anybody. They don't restrict that. You can.
I think it's the picture portion.
Anything else, if you want to take a photo, which that's also optional. They the celebrities don't. If they don't want to do it at the table, they don't take pictures. Like some have signs that say no photographs, which is fine, and they have like the other areas, which leads me to my other story. But yeah,
You mean the champagne room?
No.
I love it.
The highlight / lowlight thing. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't the Gil Gerard thing. But yes, if anything you want to have signed or sign or get a picture, most of them at this point are like, a selfie is fine. It's X amount of dollars. $20.
Well, I'm not sure. The 1 year I was there. Well, no, I was there. Was it 2 years? 2 years for the full. No, was it 1 year? I can't remember. I didn't ask Erin Gray about the specifics. I thought it would be in bad taste. But my guess is that Dragon Con picks up their lodging, their accommodations, and maybe a per diem. The rest of it is whatever you can make sitting at that table getting pictures. I may be wrong about that. I'm not sure how the deals work.
It's very weird and nebulous because, honestly, a lot of the celebrities seem somewhat embarrassed by it and by the elevated prices, and it's like it's set by either their management or their agents, because some are just outrageously expensive.
Matt Smith.
Well, yeah, and that's understandable. First year, like Zachary Levi from Chuck, he was there, and it was like $80 for a picture, and we were like, man, we don't really want to do that for a selfie. That's ridiculous. Which leads me to the story I was going to say was the highlight, low light was we got a picture with Matt Smith.
I noticed,
which was very, very cool.
A rather Inception picture because holding
exactly. we had previously 2 years ago we had taken a picture with Karen Karen Gillan.
Yes.
And instead of paying for the inflated price for both of them, we took a picture holding the picture of us with Matt and Karen, which was kind of fun and dopey. The low light of that whole thing was, it was an assembly line. It was like, step up, hey, take a picture, go. Step up, oh, take a picture, go. There was no like moment. And if you wanted to do that, I mean, the autograph table and the autograph room, I think, is more what that was geared up for.
Yeah, maybe that was the assembly, but if you want to have a 30 seconds of hey,
Yeah, I think that's more of what that is.
and of course, your ability to have those moments is kind of a correlate.
Correlation?
There is a correlation between the magnitude. You're not going to have 30 seconds to chit chat with Patrick Stewart. You're not going to get to
No.
Patrick Stewart, probably. But Dana Snyder, I mention him every time. You can walk right
Yeah.
up and talk to him.
Yeah.
Not that that's any knock against Dana Snyder. It's just that
It's just levels.
it's just a level of of freakish fandom out there.
Right,
stuff
right,
like
right.
that.
Yeah,
So-
we did that on Monday. We like took the last spin around thing, and we almost got in line for John Barrowman, but we didn't really have time, and we were walking around. I went up and a guy I've talked about a lot, Rob Paulson, who's the voice actor on Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and all that.
His name is Rob Paulson.
Yes. We went up and talked to him for like 5 minutes, and just and it helps that it was Monday, but he just stood up and we just chatted. He had a cancer scare this year or the end of last year, and I basically was like, hey, you good? Is your health good? And he was like, oh yeah, and we talked about that, and it was really cool. He was like, it was like just talking like people,
Hey, guess what?
What?
He is.
Exactly.
And they all are.
Exactly. And that's that's the hard part to remember sometimes. And it's like, oh my God, I loved you.
Hey, John, remember that time in Doctor Who when you
did that?
that was great.
Well, he's the best because he's a lunatic all the time to everybody. He's super duper fun.
I tell you, did you ever go to a panel or see Carrie Elway?
I did not. No, he was only there that 1 year, I think.
He's rather engaging.
Yeah.
He realizes that his obit, his tombstone, everything.
As
First
you
thing
wish.
is gonna be As You Wish,
Yeah.
Princess Bride. He's done other stuff.
Yeah.
But
But he's good with that.
he seems to be fine with it.
Good, because I mean, like Mark Hamill is the same way. He's like, I'm gonna be Luke Skywalker for the rest of my life, no matter what else I do.
Well, you know what? It's the same thing with any artist. You get known for a certain thing or a piece, and then if nothing else is as successful, some people are like, "Hey, I had that moment. Great, I'm still working, no problem." Other people are like, "Nothing I do is back to
Is ever going to
Michael
matter."
Jackson was chasing Thriller for the rest of his life.
yeah.
And did some good music, but he never got up to the sales and the hysteria of Thriller.
Right.
And part of me thinks that a piece of him was just thinking, man, this sucks. I'm going, dude,
You had Thriller.
you had Thriller, which is more than just about every other musician ever in existence had.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, there's, you can count on one hand the number of artists that have sold, 30 million copies of anything, in some cases their entire catalog.
Exactly. Exactly.
And other people will have an album of great success. Alanis Morissette, she had Jagged Little Pill.
Mm-hmm.
She's still out there doing her thing, and she's not lamenting the fact that she's not
Right,
reigning on the
right.
charts. She's just a working musician, and she's fine with it. It just depends on who you are as a person.
Yeah, and a lot
know.
of actors like they will push back against that. Harrison Ford, pushed back against Star Wars for a long time, and
To a degree, but
To a degree, and-
when the call came,
he came back, and
He came
like
back.
That was the best thing about like he's back in, and I think mainly because they let him. He finally got himself killed off, which he wanted to do in Jedi anyway. But like
I think he wanted that in Empire almost.
maybe, yeah, they were doing the Star Wars celebration in April at Disney, and they had this panel, and it was Warwick Davis was hosting, and they brought out like Anthony Daniels and Peter Mayhew, and then all of a sudden they brought out Mark Hamill, and they were like, "This is great. Wouldn't it be great? Hey, let's bring Harrison Ford out." And he showed up and did the panel, and they were making fun of him for crashing his plane all the time, and it was great. You know, it's nice when they come back around. You know, it's the whole "I am not Spock, I am Spock" thing.
Right. You have those years where you're like, nope, I'm not going to play that
No,
hit.
I'm an actor.
I'm not playing that hit song ever again. Oh, all right.
All right, I'll
I
play
guess
it
people
again.
really love to hear
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of thing. Well, let's face it, he's having a late career, I don't want to say renaissance, but more of a revisitation, a redux, because in the scope of 5 years, maybe on the outside of 7, he came back as Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
And Deckard.
And Decker's coming,
Yeah.
in a month or so?
Yeah, soon. Yeah.
And the previews for that are I'm okay.
It's weird.
I
But Blade Runner was weird.
Yeah, Blade Runner was weird. I don't hold Blade Runner in the same esteem that I do other films. It's damn good.
Yeah, okay,
Don't get me
good. I'm
wrong.
glad
It
to
is-
hear that, 'cause
I mean, it's a good film.
So many nerds are like, that is like the benchmark. That is like the
No.
greatest film of all
No,
time.
no.
And it's like I like it.
The visual aesthetic of it was new and daring for the time, but it's been copied and
and most of the real
remixed.
fans are like, just read the damn story. It's better than the movie.
Yeah,
you know?
you got to spare 10 minutes, read the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, they take Philip K. Dick short stories and parlay them into full-length feature films, and
Right.
then Total Recall was We Can Remember It For You wholesale or half price,
Something like that, yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, which is that's Hollywood. They
Yeah.
take
But I'm glad to hear you say that, because I always thought, like, I've people laud Blade Runner as like the greatest sci-fi, and it's like, I liked it. It's all right.
No, it's not the great. I mean, it's good.
It is a great
like it.
movie,
I own a
but-
copy of it. I will watch
so
it
do
every
I.
couple of years. I'll
Yeah.
throw it in there.
But I wasn't, the Blade Runner 2049 didn't light me up the way Force Awakens did.
Of course not.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah.
But not like, I cannot wait.
And
to
of
film
course,
it.
seeing the first preview, I went, all right, that question is answered.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not a replicant,
He
so
can't
there
be.
we go. Unless if they try to make it so he is, and they explain, there's no explanation that's going to make me accept
No,
it.
no,
Just he's human. We now know it.
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yep.
So
Yep.
anyway, hey, have we talked about Alien Covenant? I don't think we
Yeah,
have.
we did. We did the
Did
show
we?
on it. Yeah. Did you-
On Alien Covenant?
yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, right after we saw it. Why did you watch it again?
Well, no, it's not out on.
Oh.
We were talking about Ridley Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Blade Runner made me think. Did we talk about that? And apparently, we did a whole episode on it that has been flensed from my memory.
Yeah, it was a few months ago.
So I've got to switch to decaf.
But one of the best things that came out of DragonCon for me, I didn't even get to see. We were doing our memorial photo shoot thing that we do for our friend Holly, and I was like, Courtney, the Alton Brown panel is starting at 3:30.
It's coming back.
And I was like, it's about 2:30 and that line's gonna fill up. So she's like, I'm gonna get stuck, so you go and get in line. And I was like, okay. And I walked over to it's the Imperial Ballroom in the Marriott, the big one, and it goes outside. Yep. It goes from the
is
door
this the one that goes down the
stairs. And so I went. So I was already outside on the other side of the parking the parking thing, and I went over to where the line was, and I walked around and then to the end of the block, and then up all the way to the other side.
And then when you arrived in Chattanooga, you said, you know what?
By the time I got back around to where I originally started, I looked at Courtney. I was like, I'm not going to make it into that panel at all. And but literally 45 minutes later, the announcement broke. Alton made a thing about it at the panel. He said, all right, everybody get your phones out. Everybody get your phones out. I'll wait. Get ready to start recording and record. And he made the announcement that he's bringing back goodies.
For people who don't know, let them know.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Oh.
On our podcast, let them know.
Yes, Return of the Eats is coming.
Return of the Eats.
Return of the Eats. What they're doing is they're going to do it on Food Network again, but he said they're doing. They'll be putting it online as well with extra content. So the episodes will be 45 minutes long, or as however long he feels that it needs to be. And on the dais was Lucky Yates and Bart Hansard and Whitty Turner.
That's to say, good old Bart.
And Vicky Eng, I want to say her name is the one who played W. So the usual cast of characters, he basically stood up and said, "We're getting the band back together." So I was very, very excited.
So you're out, Alton. You're rehabilitated. You got the money you owe me, motherfucker?
Well, he put out a video a couple months ago, just kind of randomly on his YouTube page, and it was all dark, and then you heard like a creaky door open, and he was standing in silhouette, and you saw like flashes of light in this dusty room, and it was like the yeast puppets and the chicken and like a bunch of the props from the show, and he just stood there and he was like, "Yeah, it's time." And then he'd cut, and it was like, "Oh, okay, he's gonna do it."
Teaser,
a huge teaser. It was great.
So is Bart coming back to the show?
He was on the panel, so I'm assuming. Yeah,
all right.
I'm sure it's schedule permitting, but I'm very excited.
Well, he teaches now more often than
But I'm sure he will make exceptions to go back on.
Well, he makes exceptions every year for Christmas Carol.
Yep.
When he's teaching, so it's rough on his schedule.
Yep. I'm trying to think what else.
Christmas Carol, which I don't get to do this year.
Yeah, because
they have to have. They're doing it at the Cobb Energy Center,
Yep.
and they have to have a staff electrician from the Cobb Energy Center working with, and they don't have a job for him. Oh wait, they do. My job. Hey, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
It sucks, but
Yeah.
that's the way it goes.
union rules and all that.
It's not a union house. It's just the house policy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cobb isn't union. Oh, thank God it's not union.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway, all right. What else?
DragonCon.
DragonCon.
What else did we do?
Did you have any words at all with the good doctor, or was it just like stand, smile, go, get off the stage?
Hello, pleasure to meet you. Basically,
And you know what? Beyond that, what are you gonna do? So,
Yeah.
Remember that episode?
Exactly.
Dude, I didn't write it. I acted in it, and then
Yeah.
exactly.
We talked to Trisha Helfer from Battlestar Galactica for a little bit. She
all right.
was very nice. Courtney's big get.
Very tall, very blonde.
Very, very thin, very tall, very blonde, very thin. Very sweet, very nice. Who else did we talk to?
Does her spine glow red?
Didn't get that
Oh,
close.
wait. You would know that because
Yeah.
you haven't seen the series.
I've seen every episode.
Have you?
Yes.
Is that one you've actually made it
Yes,
through?
we finished all of
Then why
Galactica.
haven't we done an episode on it?
I don't know.
Because I know we haven't done that one.
Yeah, we haven't. Okay.
But of course, it's been so damn long that now
I know.
I need to rewatch it. You know what? I'm about to wrap up Gilmore Girls,
Mm-hmm.
my rewatch of that. So maybe I've got the Blu-ray set. I'll pop in and rewatch
So Galactica.
Galactica, and then
Okay.
So
Yes,
what is
and-
it like? What do they do? 4 seasons? 5 seasons?
5, I think. Five
Five?
and a half or
Something
five,
like that.
something like that.
right.
Let's see. Who
So,
else did we talk
You
to?
said Courtney met somebody.
Oh yeah, her big geeky moment. There's a show on, or was a show, I should say, on CW that she started watching called Rain, REIGN, and it's costume drama.
Oh, okay.
And
British Throne or
British Throne,
like historical or?
I think historical drama with a little bit of
But I mean, is it of an actual monarch, or is it just kind of like a British costume drama of a mythical?
I think
Is it more
it's-
Game of Thrones or more?
No, it's more accurate, but I mean,
It's-
it's not accurate. It's
Well.
it's I think it's I think it's based on actual monarchs, but I'm not sure. I didn't watch it. But the actress who played like the heavy was she.
The heavy good person or the heavy bad person?
I think they're all a little gray. Kind of thing.
Well, it is the monarchy.
Yeah, she's the. I hesitate to say the older one. The other two were like young 20-year-old actresses. The one was Megan Follows was her name, and she was in Anne of Green Gables on the CBC or whatever it was.
And somewhere in Atlanta, Nick Tukoski and Amy Stufflebeam's ears perk up and go, Anne of Green Gables.
This is the '90s one that Courtney grew up watching. So
Oh, the 90s
the '90s one.
I think there's a current one.
There is one on Netflix.
Okay.
Anne with an E, I think it's called. Yeah.
Oh, it's called Anne with an E?
I believe that's the name of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the title of it. So again,
How very hip, how very MTV.
Right.
We're not
And-
going to do Othello. We're going to do O.
yeah, exactly.
You're doing the story of O? Yeah. Not that story of O. I think you're doing
That's a
a
different
different.
thing.
That's a different O.
Yeah. And so Courtney kind of geeked out about meeting her, and that was cool. That was cool to watch. What else we did? We did the we did the panel-ish thing that they did with the Georgia Philharmonic, which is a really great
Panel or a performance?
a performance.
Okay.
You know, I guess it's slated as a panel, but
Hi, my name is Steven. I'm second oboe.
yeah.
And
You
let
got
me
any
tell you-
questions?
let me any
yeah.
questions for me?
Yeah.
No?
We did it 2 years ago, like the first year they did it.
I think that's the year I was there.
Yeah. We did it, and the orchestra was not fantastic. I
That
wanna
year or
say.
this year?
Well, both, unfortunately. Like,
I just remember everyone was freaking out about the
Fifth
about the
Element.
aria Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, my friend Mindy, she played that in the car. We were driving to Serenbe so many times. Her husband was like, "Stop, stop." He looks over at me and goes, "Oh, you think hearing it 3 times in a row is bad? You just got here. I've been listening to it all day." She is obsessed with this thing. Did they do it again?
I don't know. We didn't stay. We weren't able to stay for the whole
Okay.
program because it was like a 2.5 hour performance.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to, but it was the horn section, I should say, was so off that it made me like I
Ooh.
can't like they clunked the note in Leia's theme. You know, when they got to the it was like and I was like I can't do this. Luckily there was something else we were trying to get to.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can cover a lot of stuff up, but horns are not one of them.
An orchestra-
they cut through.
Yeah.
And it's you can bury a bad violin if you have enough of them, or a bad whatever.
And not even that well.
Yeah.
But the horn,
But
like
with the
doing a
horn-
solo
Yeah.
in something like that, was so disconcerting.
Oh wow,
So disconcerting.
that is unfortunate. Well, what did you cut that to go to?
I cannot remember. We went to a lot of stuff. I think we went over to the they have a lot of at Dragon Con. Like one night they have the evening at Bree party, and one night they have the Time Lord party, and one night they have the Rebel Alliance party, which are just fucking parties. They're
Parties.
just dance parties.
Yeah.
So we went to I know we went to the Last Night on Alderaan party, which was fine. It was just dancing and drinking. And
How did
then-
they know it was their last night?
Exactly, right? Yeah. It was kind of a surprise when they
Yeah.
blew that thing up.
Did you go to the Dirty Con show?
We didn't. No, I didn't know where that was.
You know, that's where Oz was.
I know. I did see Oz. I did run into Oz like just randomly.
Was he
which
Sailor Moon again?
No, he was Game of Thrones ish.
Oh, that's right. I think he was Tormund or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, come on, he's got a beard with red hair. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got to be.
and his costume was really good. I just happened to run into him in the parking lot. Who else? What else did we do? We did. We barely got into the Guardians of the Galaxy panel, which was
Both guns or just one?
just one. Sean Gunn, Karen Gillan, Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville, who happened to have a small Ravager part, which I didn't even know was him.
Oh.
Yeah, and Michael Rooker, and
I mean, he's not a bad actor at all. I
No,
thought he was
he's-
very good as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just that after 22 seasons of Smallville, he's just like, I can't. I'm done. You
Yeah.
know. And you know what? I didn't blame him because I was done too.
yeah, I bailed halfway through.
I went through the whole series, but
I
only
would-
because when I decided to stop the series, it was like 2 away from the season finale. I said, all right, I'm going to wrap up this season and be done with it. And then they announced, coming next fall, Smallville, the final season. I went, oh, motherfucker.
Might as well, yeah.
All right.
And he did come
one
back.
More.
Rosenbaum did come back.
No, I don't think he did.
I think he did for a couple episodes.
There was no, as far as I know, he didn't. I don't remember him coming back. There was the character kind of came back, but you never saw him.
Okay.
I'll have to. My memory.
It's been a
maybe-
while. Yeah, I would dip in back in when they did like some of the real arc stuff, like they did the Justice Society episode with Hawkman and Zatanna and all that, and I like a couple like whenever they would bring in actual DC people.
Now, do you remember the story arc that where the show jumped the absolute fucking shark?
Probably not, because I had given up on it at that point.
That's when Lana became a witch or became possessed by a witch. I went, okay, done.
Yeah, I'm afraid to tell my girlfriend that I'm from another planet, but she's been a witch and a werewolf, and
Right.
there's been monsters running amok
Exactly.
around in the town every week.
She'll never understand. I'm like going, right.
Yeah. So,
Okay. And then, of course, then they didn't do the payoff that everyone was waiting for. They never put him in the goddamn suit and had him fly.
Yeah, you saw the chest emblem when he opened the shirt, and then there was like a little tiny CG Superman that you didn't really get to see, and that was it. And I was like,
Wow.
bullshit.
That is like the world's longest hand job, and 5 seconds from your happy moment, you go, and we're done. Like,
we're done.
what?
What? No.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. Well, apparently he just got cast in, Tom Welling got cast in something. I can't remember what it is, but it's the first thing I've heard of him being in since
Yeah.
Smallville.
It's
And
surprising that he hasn't popped up on any of the other CW shows, on like Arrow or Flash or
He's
whatever.
not that great an actor, at least
Yeah.
not in Smallville. He was serviceable as the kind of
As the-
naive, a little bumbling,
Right.
boyish Kent. So maybe he did the smart thing and went away for a while and let people kind of forget that and kind of worked on his chops a bit, because I saw a picture with a casting announcement, and he's actually, it looked, at least, I don't know if it's natural or whether it was for the role, a little gray at the temples, close cropped hair, a little more chiseled. I went, well, hell, now you could play Superman.
Interesting.
People would want that,
Right.
but I don't think you have the acting chops. But then again, look who we have as Superman now. Not exactly acting up a storm.
I like Henry Cavill. I think he's good. I think he's all right. It's that I think that's material. I think he's not given enough.
That's
to do.
true. I mean,
that's a whole other.
a
realm.
brilliant actor can rise only so far above mediocre material.
Yeah.
You can only go so far.
They
and then
haven't
it's-
let him be Superman. Still, in my opinion, at
Yeah.
all.
Well, there's a new trailer for Justice League.
Is there?
Went and saw, or at least new to me. It may have been out previously, but I had never
Is it
seen
the one
before.
with J.K. Simmons?
Oh,
as Commissioner Gordon?
with Flash on the roof?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they okay.
Yeah, that one came out like Comic-Con. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I hadn't seen it
Okay.
because I went and saw it. Mm-hmm. And
we will be doing that as soon as I see it. So
yes.
hopefully next week we will.
Next
have,
week will be our It episode.
yeah.
And it'll be fabulous. So we both need to read the book in a week.
Yeah, it's only 1,200 pages.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Not a problem.
I'll knock that out tonight.
Yeah. Just
But you saw the Justice League trailer.
Justice League trailer. There was no other trailers that made me get excited. It was
Yeah.
all.
Here's the thing about that trailer. I have a feeling it's going to be a Rogue One situation where we're not going to see a lot of that same stuff in the movie because
There's
Joss
so much
Whedon-
reshoots.
Yeah, Joss Whedon is really taking that movie apart and putting it back together, from what I understand.
Gee, maybe it has a chance to be good now.
I hope so. It'll be definitely Joss.
There's that CGI shot of Aquaman coming down through the building and fleshing out, and just like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, they're
all right.
definitely DC has been desperately trying to make Aquaman cool for 30 years.
Well,
and
I tell you,
they got the right guy.
if this doesn't do it, then they might as well just shit can the whole character, because it's irredeemable. If Jason Momoa cannot rock Aquaman like
Yeah.
a motherfucker,
Yeah.
then he can't be rocked. It's just not possible.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, speaking of all that was another thing that there is a lot of weird shit going on at DC right now.
really, they're realizing that they're kind of successful, but most of the films are really kind of mediocre-ish. They've got some high points. They're not embarrassing themselves, but they're not touching Marvel. Is that what it is?
Yes, but they're reacting the wrong way.
Oh God, what are they doing?
Well, the announcements that came out recently were, okay, we're kind of getting Suicide Squad 2,
right.
which is fine. You know, it's fine.
Is Leto coming back?
Even he doesn't know.
Because
that was
Leto's
part of
gone between, I had fun, it was fine, and fuck DC, and
I hated the movie, and
I hated that character,
but
and
now
everyone hated working with me, and I hated, and now I just don't know.
Well, they've announced that the whole Gotham City Sirens.
That's the only DC film that I am actually excited
right,
about.
and
I'll
that's
see Justice League.
And that what's going on with that is a little weird now.
Not in production?
Not in production yet.
Not even in pre-production?
Maybe pre-production, but it's not there. They're talking about a Joker Harley Quinn movie, which
that's also a viable thing. But
that's fine.
God,
but is that
Leto?
taking place of the thing? And is it Leto? What's going on with that? And they're talking about a standalone, not part of the DCEU, Joker origin movie with a different actor, directed by Scorsese, which is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
Scorsese is he is of an advanced age. I'm not going to say he's old. He only has so many films left in him. Don't waste your talent on that shit.
Yeah, I don't want to see fucking Leonardo DiCaprio as pretending to be
anything in that universe.
Anything in that universe. And again, I contend my stance is the Joker does not have an origin story. We don't know what it is. No one should.
Right. Don't pin down the unpinnable, the ineffable.
Don't fucking Anakin him. We don't. You know, Darth Vader is the scariest thing ever until you see the stupid little kid.
And you're like, really?
We don't need
Jake
that.
Lloyd with that flat delivery of those awful lines written by golly.
You know. Even in one of the most famous.
Sorry, George. Every fucking time, those goddamn prequels. All right.
Even in one of the most definitive Joker books, there's a comic or a graphic novel called The Killing Joke,
right,
which is definitive in a lot of different ways. It makes a lot of different things happen to certain characters that stick. That book is a Joker origin story. It shows this kind of schlubby wannabe comedian who falls in with the mob and goes on a job that goes wrong, that makes him fall into a vat of chemicals with the Batman, blah, blah, blah. And even at the end of it, when Batman and the Joker are facing off or talking, even because they kind of just talk to each other in this book, because the beginning of the book, Batman goes to Arkham and says, look, one of us is going to kill the other one, and I don't think that's a good thing. It's a really great book. It's a really, really, really great book.
Was it My Dinner with Joker?
Kinda. It's kind of a, look, I've been thinking about this, and one of us has to die, and that really shouldn't be the way. But even at the end when they're talking, the Joker is like, he's kind of recounting this tale of his origin, and he's like, but that could be what happened. I like to change it frequently.
Well, it's like The Dark Knight. I got these scars.
Exactly.
And you get 4 different stories.
I got so angry in that movie when he started telling that story. And then I got so happy when he told a different version of the story later on in the movie.
Yep.
So that's what it is. He shouldn't. There is no definitive Joker origin. Okay, yes, somebody falls into a vat of chemicals, maybe because of the Batman or not.
Okay, that's not an origin story.
Yeah.
That's a thing that happened.
Right.
That could be a lynch point in the development of the character. It's not like, I'm Joe Schmo, absolute nice guy, vat of chemicals, now I'm crazy.
Right.
There's got to be something more, and that's more is what we don't need to know.
Yeah, and, Scorsese?
I unless his films have made him no money and he is hurting for money, he's done enough quality work. Sure, take a paycheck film. Actors do it all the time. But if it's not for the money, don't waste your talent on that shit. And don't do it.
And DC keeps talking about like, well, maybe we'll make these standalone films that aren't part of the EU, of the cinematic universe. It's like, but
Why?
You haven't even established the goddamn cinematic universe yet.
Yeah, you can't go outside the universe when you don't have a universe.
Yeah, it's barely cohesive.
Yeah.
You know, barely. You know,
What do we got? We got
Batman, Superman.
Batman, Superman. And that's
Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman.
and Wonder Woman.
That's all
kind
we
of
have.
it. And of course, they're all supposed to come
And
together
Man
with,
of Steel,
with the
but-
addition of Cyborg and
And Justice League.
And
But
we
I
haven't
mean-
we haven't had a Flash film.
No, and that keeps falling apart. Like that's been in production hell for 3 years. They've been trying to get that together. Like Aquaman is in production right now.
Say that. I'm not a fighter. I just move bullets aside and then run away.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was mad because I like the TV show Flash so much that I was like, why they're not bringing those characters in?
For some reason, or you're about those actors or those characters.
Well, the actors playing those characters.
For some reason, it happens with DC, Marvel, and everything. They don't want to cross the TV streams with, and I'm wondering if it's that whole Earth 1, Earth 2 thing where
here's
they're
what it
trying
is.
to keep it.
Marvel at least acknowledges those things exist in that in the same universe, and the DC stuff, like the movies, will not at all acknowledge that stuff exists. Yes, what they
Henry Cavill will never talk about my cousin in, was it Capital City?
National City,
National City,
But,
Supergirl?
there is Superman on Supergirl,
Right.
So they do the whole multiverse, Earth 1, Earth 2, but it was kind of a way to keep the TV stuff together. They'll never, I don't think, they started referencing and crossing over. I don't think it's ever going to touch the movie stuff because they were like, well, these are movies, and it's like, you're thinking wrong, you're thinking the old ways. This is what
Marvel's got it. They've got
They
their
nailed it
universe,
down.
they've got their streaming series, and their broadcast
Right.
series. I mean, the existence of Jessica Jones does not in any way impede any of the films.
right, and they could reference or refer to that in a film.
Or sometimes in the TV show, remember The Event? The Event. Well, we know The Event
Exactly.
was,
was the Battle of New York in
Right.
Avengers.
Exactly.
So
Oh, DC.
yeah, it's so disheartening that
Now we know what it feels like to be Pepsi.
kind of.
I mean, drinking wise, I prefer Pepsi if I drink, sugared soda. But you know what? It really sucks as a mixer with alcohol.
yeah,
You ever had a Jack and Pepsi?
No.
Of course you haven't, because it's awful.
and no one has.
And nobody would want that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the other big news that happened in the last couple of weeks,
Why am I clenching a little?
no. It's just interesting what went down.
Okay.
We lost another Star Wars director.
Oh yes, that's
Colin
right.
Trevorrow has been,
the episode 9 is now in jeopardy. Well, not in
It's not in jeopardy. It's
not
in
in jeopardy. It's just
in
gonna-
limbo. Yeah,
And now they're talking about maybe bringing back J.J. Abrams.
I'm sure that's being kicked around. I don't know if.
Hey, Peter Jackson. Nope, not doing the Hobbit films. Nope, not doing the Hobbit films. All right, I'm doing the Hobbit films.
Yeah.
So you never say never, but well.
Yeah, and I think JJ might be the guy to do it.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. I obviously cannot speak for J.J. Abrams, but as someone with somewhat of an artistic bent to them, I want to tell my stories. I don't want to keep telling other people's stories.
Yeah.
And maybe the money is so good and maybe he enjoys doing it, that's fine. And he's relatively young. I mean, he's got another 40 years in the business easy, I
And
mean, what he's like, he's maybe 35?
JJ, he's got to be older than that. He's got to be
think so?
early 40s.
Really? You
but
think so?
Yeah.
All right, another 30 years in the business.
Yeah.
So he's got plenty of time to do other stuff. But at a certain point, you just, you know what?
I don't think it was that. I think he said when he got to do Force Awakens, he was like, I can't top this. It was so big. I can't, I can't do all these and this be and get better at it. And I think though, because he also said immediately, he's like, well, I read the script for Last Jedi and I'm really upset that I not directing it.
Ah.
You know, because it's that good. But maybe they'll convince him, because they had to convince him to do Force Awakens.
That's true. He wasn't gonna do it. It was like, really, do Star Trek and Star Wars? That's crossing the streams. You never cross the streams.
Yeah, I don't even think it was that. It was more like, I'm terrified. I don't want to be the guy who fucked up Star Wars. Is kind of what he said.
You did just fine with Star Trek.
Yeah,
I know you have
did.
quibbles about that film, but
I do, but I'm not a Star Trek fan. So
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you're a fan, but just
I'm a
not,
fan, but
but like orders of magnitude far diminished from Star Wars.
Yeah.
From Star Wars, obviously.
Yeah, and the movies are fine. They're all right.
Yeah, well, the first one, Into Darkness.
Yeah, and the third one was fine.
Was there a third one?
Yeah, well, you're something Beyond. Remember?
What was the plot of Beyond?
The Idris Elba.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
yeah.
See, I'm already.
See, that's what I mean.
It's already.
That was all right.
It's already
okay.
drifting away from my.
But
brain.
it's really interesting. I think the rumor about Colin Trevorrow was that the movie he's got coming out now has been so critically lambasted that Disney is getting cold feet, and they also said he was kind of hard to work with because Jurassic World was such a huge success that they couldn't tell him anything. He was going to do it his own way, and that ain't how Star Wars works.
Yeah, you're up against the mouse. You're gonna lose.
You're up against the mouse and Lucasfilm. I mean, Lucasfilm is
Kathleen Kennedy and who's running Disney now?
Bob Iger, I think.
Is it Bob Iger? Okay.
I believe. If I'm not 100%, but I mean, Kathleen Kennedy walks in and dumps her 9 Oscars on the table and says, "You're going to do it the way we tell you to do it."
that's the equivalent of unzipping your pants and just laying your dick on the thing, like boom.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
I'm in charge of fucking Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm is probably just one notch below Disney.
And you know what? It makes me pleased that they're willing to put their foot down on things, because they got rid of the solo standalone directors, the Lego boys, and now this has happened. So apparently, there's a firm hand on the rudder. It is not like it's Star Wars, it'll be fine. It's like no,
this is the goal. This is
now
the
I feel
crown
bad,
jewel.
right? I feel bad for the people who are trying to be artistic within the confines of that. But you know what? When you sign on to do a Star Wars film, you're not going to be able to do all your artsy stuff that it's.
Well, that's kind of what happened with Edgar Wright with Ant-Man. Edgar Wright wanted to make a movie and he just wanted to make a movie about a superhero and not have to tie into all this crap. And again, it was the same thing. Marvel was like, "No, you're going to make this movie with your bits and pieces in it." But yeah, the fact Disney's looking at it as this is $1 billion every year that we are looking at.
Oh,
and you can't fuck this up because you want to do something artsy
and
weird.
$1 billion. I mean, that's just in the film theatrical release and home video release.
Right.
Then you've got all
another
the
$1 billion
tie-ins
of merchandising
and merch and everything. Now I don't know how much of that Lucas retained, but guess what? Lucas sold to Disney, so now they have those toy rights as well.
Exactly.
So
and there is no shortage.
And they're building Star Wars Land. They're not going to put down probably $500 million, I would think, developing this land,
if not more.
I mean, to like throw away one film.
Right. You don't. I think they were willing to. No, I guess they even weren't. I was going to say the standalones, they were willing to bend a little bit, but they even weren't. I mean, they reshot so much of Rogue One.
To bend away from the formula and the aesthetic of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
But they still have a vision
right.
that they want to fit, in the universe. And if someone wants to, hey, let's add wizards and elves, like, no, that's not this.
Right.
Or whatever people were trying to do.
It seems like the only guy who's able to get away with that kind of stuff is Dave Filoni, the guy who does the cartoon stuff. Because the cartoons are phenomenal. Like
I think a much more generous acceptance of going different places is available for animation.
But it's all canon. It does count because there are Rebels references in Rogue One. There are, there are Rogue One references in the trailers for season 4 of Rebels, so it's all canon, and the books and stuff are all canon now.
So, Steve, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm just the dramaturg for Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
I'm the archivist.
Or I'm the head of the team of dramaturgs.
Exactly. I'm the person.
department.
I'm the person that knows Star Wars better than the people that created it, because they created it and then went on to other stuff. I've been studying it and integrating it, and I understand everything.
Yep.
When the director doesn't know which way to go, they call me. That would be a great.
That's a great gig.
That'd be a great gig to have.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm a fan. I'm not that big of a fan. I mean, Mon Calamari, that stops me every time. It's the dumbest fucking name of a planet and a people. Akbar's awesome, but when you call his race or the planet Mon Calamari,
That's the race too. Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm sorry. You lost me. I'm done. It's stupid. It's just stupid. I love you, Star Wars, but sometimes you're just stupid as hell.
Well, it was just lazy writing on George's part, which is,
Well, I have no respect for writing. You know that about me.
Right,
Just,
right.
Just throw some words on a page. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll work itself out.
Yeah, let's,
Also, they just released, my little BB-8 that I
do.
have. Did you see what they just came out with?
Is it a big one?
No. It is
What?
a scale to that little BB-8, perfectly screen accurate R2-D2.
Whoa. Oh, scaled, small.
Scaled to the BB-8, yeah.
So what?
So it's about yay big.
The drivers are in the feet?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because it doesn't have the gyro, because that's not that.
No,
that.
it's their actual treads. It's not wheels.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it should be waiting for me at my house at the moment because
You ordered it?
I was lucky. I was looking at it.
Nerd alert.
Yeah, when we went to Dragon Con, we got settled in the hotel, and I was just in bed scrolling through my phone, and it was either Nerdist or ThinkGeek or something. It was like Sphero announces for Force Friday new things, and I was like, oh no. And Courtney's like, what? I was like, you don't want to know. And the other day, checks for 4 projects I had worked on previously, and one I was coming up on, and I had a gig this weekend, and I had a kind of a rough job on a certain show,
said-
and I was like, you know what?
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself, and so he should be waiting for me at the house.
Wow.
Right now.
Wow. So now, dare I? Under 200?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
Not much, but
yeah.
close. And the interesting thing they did was they released 3 droids. It was kind of a new paint job for BB-8. The R2.
Hold on. That's the third one.
Yes.
Let me see. Prequel, postquel, or original?
Post.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What fucking robot is in?
And that's the question.
What? Oh, is it from the upcoming movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then I wouldn't guess it. What is it?
It is what looks like an Imperial version of BB-8. It's like black and silver, and it looks mean and angry.
Kind of like Dr. Ball, except not with the
it's
hypodermic.
It's BB-8. It's a ball with a head, but the head is kind of more flat, like R5D4. And it was dubbed.
Oh my god, the scenes between the two of them are going to be so fucking awesome. I can already see it.
It's my friend and stage manager Courtney Griever Freeze dubbed him BB Hate, which I think is hilarious.
Oh, that's gonna hashtag.
Yep, she I have to give her credit for that.
Holy,
she went out and picked up the bobblehead of it, and because they released all this merch, it's like BBE9 or something. We don't know, and like it's not even in any of the trailers, or it's not in the first trailer.
There's no trailer.
Well, they're the first trailer, and it's not in the behind the scenes thing. There's no footage of it. All of a sudden, it's just there's this toy. It's like, Who is he?
BB Hate.
BB. Yeah, it's like B. Yeah, and that's the only thing I'm ever gonna call it. I think.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I didn't buy
perfect.
him because I didn't have another $175 or whatever it was. But the R2, I was like, I've only wanted this for 40 years, so I'm going to buy it for myself.
Well, you hear they recently put up for auction one of the original R2 units from the very first, from A New Hope.
At work, Courtney and I were like, we can raise $2 million, can't we?
Is that what it went for?
Well, that was the a beginning projection.
I think it didn't sell for that much. Did it?
I don't know. I don't think we ever saw what it actually sold for.
Because
but that
I
was the
remember hearing that it
original-
sold, but I was like, oh, that's not as much as I thought it would be. But okay.
Yeah, but
Fair
still,
enough.
we were like, how can we? We were like, yeah, we can raise the money. I'll take him Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can have Thursday, Saturday.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be. Well, the thing is, if I remember correctly, it was the shell. No movement, no nothing.
Oh, it was just the.
It was. I mean, it was basically a leftover prop or something. They went, yeah, fine. Here, we'll auction it off for charity, or some model maker had it. I can't remember exactly. But
Right.
you know how Lucasfilm is very grouchy about people that worked, as a freelance on the film.
Yeah.
Remember the guy making the Stormtrooper helmets in England, and they
Yep.
sued him for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to that case, but they, when you're going up against Lucasfilm and then Lucasfilm under the auspices of the Mouse, I'm sorry, they could just keep you in, they could drain you financially with legal stuff until you die.
Yeah, we were talking about that due to the show that I'm currently worked on.
Shall we mention it or should we not?
We can. It'll be, in 3 weeks it'll be irrelevant.
Okay.
I just did a show at Dad's Garage Theater Company. It just opened. Wicket the musical, the parody musical,
Right.
which we have to say,
Very important.
Very
the
much.
parody.
and it is a parody of basically the events of Return of the Jedi.
Parody is fair use.
Yes, it is an original musical that is a parody of the events of Return of the Jedi as told by the Ewoks' point of view.
And let me tell you, the Act 1 number that closes, called At Scat, absolutely amazing.
No, it's even better than that because it's the only real tie-in to the pun that the show is named after. 'Cause if you're unaware, there is a show called Wicked, which is the untold story of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Right.
Which is what this is. It's a parody of that. Travis Sharp, who wrote the book of the show, said, "Yes, it's a show based on a stupid pun." No, the big number in Wicked is a number called Defying Gravity.
They didn't even change it up.
Well, no. In the actual Wicked show, the Defying Gravity is the name of name of the Act 1 closer. In Wicket, the name of the Act 1 closer is Defying Palpatine.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it was still
No,
Defying
no.
Gravity and Wicked.
No,
Okay.
it's Wicket in
Defying
Wicket.
Palpatine.
Yeah,
okay.
it's pretty spectacular. And
Palpatine being played by your friend and mine,
Mr. Googie
Mr.
Uda.
Googie Uderhart.
And everything in the show is pretty phenomenal. Our friend, do you know V. Kelly?
I do.
She made the mask that is his face, and it is flawless.
Well, she's only, let me see, seriously talented.
Yes, one of the more talented.
Oh, no. Probably her and Chris Brown together should, fight crime and just do everything.
Yeah, and
Chris Brown, who just landed a gig with the BBC.
I heard that. I don't know what he's doing though.
I don't know either.
Okay,
But it's...
I'll ask him.
He's
next
at
time I see him.
Pinewood with the BBC.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's sweeping the floors.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's not, but hell, even if he was, you're at Pinewood.
Yeah.
It's the BBC, man.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Good for them.
we
Good for them.
we associate with some okay people that do
We're
things.
lucky enough to know some really talented cats and get to play around with them now and again. So
Just plays with my inferiority and insecurity about my own talents. It just works so
oh yeah,
well.
yeah. It just damages you from the
I'm so
inside.
happy for you. God, why do I suck so bad?
my favorite line about like that was someone asked Eric Idle about rivalry between the Pythons, and he said no, we all want each other to do well, just not very well.
just not better than
Exactly.
than ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pythons, in about 2 months we get to go see John Cleese.
John Cleese live. Where is that? Is it Gwinnett Arena? Or
No, it's at
Cobb Energy?
It's at Symphony Space.
Oh, that's right. Symphony Hall. at
Symphony Hall.
Woodruff. Yeah.
And so that's, compared to those other two places, it's intimate.
Yes.
I mean, Cleese is a genius. I don't think he's going to sell out Gwinnett Arena.
Oh no.
Cobb Energy Center, there's a good shot there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they did play. Him and Eric Idle played there, and for some reason beyond either of us, neither of us went to see that.
I know. I don't.
I don't know if it was a timing or a money thing, or I don't know why neither one of us went. To
Yeah, neither.
But
now I
anyway.
remember the one thing that every once in a while I think, why didn't we go? Then I remember the last time Spinal Tap came around. It wasn't Spinal Tap. It was just the guys not
Yeah.
being. And I went, no, I want the bombast. I want the Stonehenge. I'm sure it's perfectly
I want
serviceable.
the shell that doesn't open.
Right, exactly. I want all that.
I want
stuff.
Nigel Tufnell. I don't want Christopher Guest.
Yes, I mean, I do want Christopher Guest, but doing something other than
Yeah.
Spinal Tap. If you're going to do Spinal Tap, do Spinal Tap.
yeah.
I think the reason they did that is because I think for them to maintain the rights to keep being Spinal Tap, they have to produce new Spinal Tap or activity every so often. That's the reason. I remember hearing an interview. It's kind of like the rights issue with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You have to actually be doing something every so often.
Right.
Otherwise, the rights revert back to, was it Embassy, Capital? I can't remember who owns.
Something like that.
Yeah, and of course, Harry Shears is suing everybody on the planet
Yes.
because they're not paying him. And you know what? A lot of creative types be like, whatever. And he goes, no, you said you do this. You're not doing this. Pay me my fucking money.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't need it, it's the principle of it. And you know what? I get it. Harlan Ellison's the same way. He's doing just fine. But if you try to steal from him, even if it's money that he would have lit on fire to,
It's still his money.
It's like, no, you're screwing me. It's the principle of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but I have heard a rumor that the opening number that because apparently this is an evening of talking and a little bit of sketches and film stuff that Cleese will be doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to start off with a musical number.
Okay.
And you know how we were just talking about Wicked?
Yeah.
He's going to come out and do.
Medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Benny Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard and Fine. No Scorsese. No. Bad Scorsese. Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Tag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen and watch on YouTube. Listen on SoundCloud. Stream us on Stitcher. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Or email us, comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
LOZ.